We are live.
Hello, friends.
How's it going tonight?
Hello.
No, doing okay. How you guys doing?
Not too bad. Can't really complain. A little tired though.
It's been a tiring day. I
Yes.
think we've all been pretty tired lately. This is partied pretty hard last week.
Yes.
You do not party hard.
Yeah, you're right. I don't.
I like to party. My name's Matt. I like to party.
Yes.
My name's Austin, and I'm part of Privileged Cavemen, and I also like to party.
I thought you were about to bust out our new commercial that's coming out.
Dude, it's super,
I gotta keep it a
super
secret.
dude. We got this super intricate marketing scheme that's the most genius thing that we've ever thought of. Very, very intelligent, not stupid.
Not stupid at all. Not stupid at all.
Yeah, we got a new green screen, so we're thinking about trying to make some like little skits and everything that are funniest, like 30-second skits or maybe even longer. I don't really know what you guys have planned,
Yeah.
but
I'm trying to order like props for us. There's so many situations where we just need props, fucking wigs,
well,
items.
I found that rainbow wig upstairs, by the way. If you've been looking
What?
for that, yes.
Oh my god! I'm looking for that since Halloween, since last Halloween.
It's probably been in that spot. It's
I
like
spent like $70 on that.
it's in that TV stand upstairs, like under the big TV
I've
in
been
the
looking
other
for
room.
that forever.
Yeah.
Thank you for.
Oh my God,
dropping
you
that
found a
moment.
rainbow wig, dude.
Dude,
That's
that was
crazy.
expensive.
Have you seen the picture of Tyler when he dressed like a girl from Halloween?
No, that sounds awesome.
He
though.
dressed like a rave girl.
Wait,
Yeah,
Tyler dressed like a girl? No way.
No way, not at all.
That is
Could've
not
been better
something.
with
Yeah,
the
I wore
long
this
hair
like
now.
bedazzled gold like crop top. I wore like those whatever
Girl
those
rave
hippie
pants.
those hippie girl rave pants.
That are like ass cheek tight.
I just remember like being at the Bass Nectar show, and the funniest part of the night was, so my belly button was hanging out. I was like this, and this dude, we were up in the bleachers, and this dude walked all the way up, and he was eyeing me the whole time, like dead stare, and he was just walking up. He walks straight up to me, is looking me straight in the eyes, and all he does is like finger my belly button, and literally just walks away. Doesn't even say a word.
Doesn't
dude.
say one word.
What the fuck?
I was like, did he just finger my belly button?
That's that random like rave shit. That's so funny. Like fucking what do they say at Forest? Carl. Carl. Just like the random like
At
little
Electric
jokes.
Forest, my buddy Fugger, he had this girl come up to him just with this like chalice, and she was like, "Take a sip from it." And he's like, "What's in it?" She's like, "I'm not telling you." Like this weird like wizard woman, and he's
probably
just like,
does,
"No,
like-
I'm not having a sip of that."
Probably
Like,
does for like 100 hits.
yeah, exactly. You don't trust people at a place like that.
No.
God only knows what's in there.
I remember I was at this one festival and someone brought out a watermelon and they like basically cut the top off and were then like cutting pieces out to hand to people, which was cool and clean up first. But then like when it got to the end, people were literally just like digging their hand in this watermelon.
Were they
just-
biting into it? Like
Yeah.
people were just like biting into it.
Yeah,
And, like random.
they were like,
strangers just,
biting it, but then
tonguing
they
on
were
this
digging their
watermelon.
hands in it and just grabbing like chunks out of it with their hands and eating it. And then there's one girl that was in our group, and after everyone dug their hands through and digged it clean, which is disgusting, she fucking poured it with beer and everything and just started drinking out of it. And I'm just like,
just
only at a rave.
saliva juice.
Okay, I have a question for you guys. Have you ever tried to like make watermelon like with vodka or whatever?
no.
Wait, like ferment it,
Where you like cut a hole in the
like
water.
the prisoners do.
Well, no, you just like cut a hole in the watermelon and then you take a bottle of vodka and pour it in there.
Oh,
and
I've done
slowly
that.
absorbs.
I've done that.
Have you ever had it like actually work? I feel like every time I've ever been around someone that tries to do that, it really doesn't work.
Well,
that
let's
well.
fucking try it now.
I think
Okay,
it went okay.
podcast
I'm pretty
challenge.
sure we did it at Western.
I have no idea. I've never done. I've smoked out of a watermelon before.
You smoked out of a watermelon?
Yeah, I put a fucking.
I feel like that wouldn't work as good
we
as like
got
I've
it.
made
South.
bongs from less man.
I think I have a video of it. We had gutted it basically and then put a bowl in it and then just started smoking it. We also did that with a pumpkin on Halloween.
Oh, we got to do that next year for
Yeah.
sure. Hopefully there is a Halloween this year because
Dude, I hope so. I feel like there's going to be no celebration really, but there'll be like pumpkin patches.
yeah, it's just weird times, you know.
Yep.
Everything's shutting down. we were just going to I'm not going to drop the name, but we were just going to a music festival past couple weekends that opened up.
Or you mean a music venue?
Venue, sorry. And yeah, it's shut down.
I mean, why not? It's public news. Your mom's house.
Yeah, true.
I don't know.
No, I mean,
everybody was talking shit on
can,
Facebook.
They can potentially open back up, though. They have to like write a letter. I was reading to like the health department about like what steps they're gonna take to.
It sucks because I was
basically
having
follow protocol, and then the health department will basically let them reopen. But if then they break protocol again one more time, then they're closed for good.
Okay.
It sucks because I was having so much fun, like going back to shows, sort of feeling normal again a bit, and now it's all taken away from us.
Yeah. That's the result, though. Like, this is what's going to happen, though. The disease is still around, so they give them these like limitations, and your first weekend you have a show. All right, you're going to follow all the rules closely. But that next weekend, it's going to get more lax.
Yep.
The next weekend after that, it's going to get more lax, and then rules are going to be broken. Whatever the rules that we have,
and then
that's what's going to happen. And then,
that's why I've noticed that like Cervantes hasn't done any shows, and I'm like, why haven't they been trying to do things? But I feel like one, they don't want to risk it because they know that's going to happen.
Yep.
People are going to start, not
it's hard
social
to,
distancing.
Yeah, it's hard to almost enforce.
Yeah.
You can only do so much, but people are gonna not listen and rebel like always, just because that's the human nature almost. But the Black Box is still doing those patio shows, so I kind of want to go check that out this weekend and see what that's about.
That would be cool.
Yeah, those are Saturdays, I think.
For anyone that doesn't know, the Black Box, sick venue in Denver.
I'm pretty sure it's rated the best sound system in the country for like music venues like that.
It's got a really nice Function One system and whatnot. And there's always really underground like artists from the UK playing there.
Casbah.
Yeah, Casbah.
If you ever get a chance to see Casbah at the Black Box, you have to take that opportunity.
I think Casbah was conceived at the Black Box.
That's exactly like it was made.
I'm pretty sure that's true.
Yeah, like
I think it's documented.
He's one of the most disgusting artists I've ever seen at the Black Box, and it's just.
I think I've said
he
this.
Shuts it down.
I've told you guys this before, but my buddy Biggs, there's an old school like Casbah recap video from like 2010 or 2011 at. What was the bar that was underneath the Metro in Chicago? Was it Smart Bar?
Smart Bar.
Smart Bar also had a Function One system, and either way, it's Casbah's recap video, and Biggs is front row, like double chugging 2 bottles of beer.
I want to see that video for sure.
It's pretty awesome,
That's
man.
awesome.
But he was showing like how he uses all like the vinyl. What do you call them? Dub plates. I'm so unfamiliar
That's so
with that
UK
word.
too.
Yeah, I got my dub plates, man.
Dude, I want to
That
see
was
Digital
not a good
Ethos at
English
the Black
accent.
Box. I feel like
Yeah, we were supposed to see Digital Ethos last weekend.
Yeah, we could've.
We backed out though.
because it was one of those like drive-in shows, and there's a roommate went the week before, and she said she was parked in the back, and they didn't have speakers back there, so like she couldn't really hear. But then the next week, for that show, they had speakers in the back, so she was right next to one. She said it was awesome.
It's weird how like fucking everywhere, just because we're people, like we have an energy, but places have an energy too. And like just when individuals combined with certain places, it just like brings this experience that can't be anything else. This is like a perfect fit, and it brings that out, like Casbah at the Black Box.
I agree.
Something like I saw
fucking 12th
Aragon,
Planet at Jubilee. Like they should rename at Electric Forest. They should rename Jubilee fucking 12th Planet.
Yeah, it's just like these artists fit with that energy perfectly more than anybody else, and it's just a venue, stage.
Did you guys see at the drive-in shows, each car spot had its own individual rail, so kids could grab the rail and rage out?
That's so dubstep.
Like it's dubstep as fuck.
your own personal rail.
I wonder like how they had those rails like weighed down, because people move those entire rails sometimes at like front row of festivals and shit.
They should have like glamping glamping at Electric Forest, like comes with your own rail at your campsite. Kids are just like rail raging.
That would be awesome.
Think about all your past like concert experiences, like as a child, and imagine somebody being like, "Okay, you're gonna get your own personal rail one day at shows to headbang to electronic music."
Yep,
dude. One time, me and my buddy Joe, it was at Freestyle Bass Nectar at First Bank Center, and it was the Friday night, and we had like a box seat area essentially.
What year was that?
It was like what would that be like? Not last
18?
Yeah,
18.
You were there. We talked about this.
It was 18 then. Yeah.
Okay, and it was just so fun. Like we were just chilling in these super nice leather seats. Chain smoking cigarettes, which we shouldn't have been doing. It was super fun.
Electric Forest is just unreal. I love it.
It's just a magic.
That was not at Electric
Oh,
Forest.
was it?
That was freestyle session.
Oh, you said freestyle.
How
Fuck.
dare you not listen to me?
Also
Just kidding, I love
magical
you.
as
We
well.
were talking about it, so I was just, dude, it was on my mind. Freestyle sessions, though, is crazy.
Forest is always on my mind. We haven't gone the last 2 years, I don't think.
No, we need to send
We
it
need
back.
to take a break though because we were kind of getting over it. We were there before it became the 2 weekends and stuff,
Yeah.
and
They
you
went
don't
back to-
want to be an old head and say, "Oh, it got saturated" and all that. But like
It definitely did.
the artists have definitely changed. The
It
crowd,
got saturated, man.
crowd has definitely changed. Matt's trying to figure out how to pour a beer.
Dude, that is the worst pour. I'm so I'm
tipping
All
embarrassed.
foam.
Let's
No.
wow.
He tipped
Embarrassed.
it. He poured it straight up and down.
Shut up.
You gotta put it at an angle and let it run down the side.
I meant to, okay? It was an accident.
That's what they all say.
Stop! Oh my god. Okay.
I want us to keep pushing and see how far it'll go.
It reminds me of this time my roommate Tony back in Eversville. Shout out Tony if you watch our podcast. He's fucking hilarious.
Fucking
No, he's not.
Well, one time he was
Tony.
he always cooked his eggs in like this big ass pan, and we're like whatever. But then this one day he decides to cook his eggs in like the smallest pan possible. And I'm like, and it was overflowing the pan. I'm like, Tony, why don't you use a bigger pan?
Was
He's
he just like watching it overflow?
He's like, yeah. He's like, I don't. He's like, I don't know. Like, this is how many I usually cook, and it doesn't do this. I'm like, you're using literally the smallest fucking pan. Like, it's just those dumb moments, and that reminded me
What
of
is-
that.
that's like gaining 200 pounds and being like, these pants used to always fit.
So true. I don't know what happened, man.
It's like you're fucking fat now.
Yeah.
You're fucking fat.
Lose some weight.
Didn't your other roommate? I don't know. It was so bad that I don't even want to say his name, but like, didn't he used to like put like water bottles like in the microwave or some shit like that, like some random shit?
Talking about Zach.
Yes.
Metal water bottles or
Zach's
No, like he was
No,
so displacement. Like he would just like put things in
He
like
put places
very
in the
random
dumbest places for sure.
I would
One
never
of my
do
favorite
that.
stories about him though is we were
You have
fucked
some
up. I'm pretty sure you
correlation
might
to
have
things.
pretty sure you might have been at our house during this moment. We were having like a huge party or something. It was like 4 in the morning. We were all fucked up, drinking outside still. And all of a sudden Zach just comes running out the back door and just goes for a jog. And I'm like, Zach, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, I'm just going for a run, man. I'm like, at 4 in the morning after you had fucking 24 beers?
Yeah,
like,
he got fucked
what?
up. Like didn't he sleep for like 2 seconds in his room and then he just like left his room
Yeah.
and just like sprinted outside.
Yeah.
And then he came back like 20 minutes later, like sweating. We're like, yo, what's good? He's like, I just went for a run. And we were just like, what the fuck?
4 in the
Dude,
morning.
keeping the Electric Forest theme going. One time I was in, Sherwood Forest, like watching or looking at a bunch of art installations, things like that. And it's like probably 4 or 5 p.m. And we see this dude like run through the forest, like full jogging gear on, like armband with his like iPod at the time, probably listening to music, and he's like clearly getting his daily run in. We're like, damn, that is commitment.
That
right
is
there.
dedication, right?
But what a
there.
cool place to do your daily run, you know?
When I'm tripping though, I feel like I can run forever. Like I honestly love running. So
And I ran.
I did that like last month and I came home and was telling you guys about
yeah,
it. Like
you said you enjoyed it.
I wasn't drinking or anything. I smoked weed, but I was
Yeah.
just tripping on acid. I felt good and I want to go on a run, and it was such a amazing experience because the thing about like the visual, I go on runs to escape, to see the visual aspects. We have a beautiful outdoor area by us, a bunch of trails, and you it's amplified because
It
you're
is.
on LSD, and it was fucking amazing. And also, I killed my times. I had literally. I'm not kidding.
That's what I'm saying, you don't get tired.
I use Map My Run. It's on for Under Armour. I fucking killed my PR for 3 miles, and I smoked it on acid.
It's crazy.
I think I told you I was just watching this Jordan Peterson lecture the other day, and he was talking about how they did a test of like 200,000 people that have experimented with psychedelics throughout their life versus normal population of the same amount. And on virtually every measurable aspect of intelligence and physical fitness, the people that have experimented with psychedelics were in better condition. And then he, goes to point out this other possible, like, not counter arguments, but reasons, like maybe people that were more likely to try those things were just more healthy people in general. But nonetheless, a very interesting correlation there.
I think the key is to the Olympics is for runners to just take a hit of acid before a mile run, and they'll run that bitch in like 2 minutes, break records.
There's so many UFC fighters that are in the most violent combat sport, like. That's legal.
We couldn't remember the other day. Who is that pitcher that pitched that no-hitter famously while really high on acid?
I'll look it up.
Yeah, it's
what?
Yeah, he pitched a no-hitter on acid.
And he claims like he was just so honed in and so focused.
Randy Johnson, I'm going to go with.
It wasn't Randy Johnson. It was like a lie. What is this? I always fuck his name. Doc Ellis. There you go. Doc Ellis.
That is mind-blowing.
Can you tell us any facts about this that come up?
It was 47 years ago today. Not today, though. No, it was June 12th, 1970s. Pirates pitcher Doc Ellis did something that, by all rights, should be completely impossible if you've never taken psychedelics and understand what it does to you. Like the person that read this article, because I've seen this man play darts on acid. And
I have never done such a thing.
Yeah, you're right.
But I am very good at darts when I'm on acid.
How do you have the balls to be a professional athlete and be like, yo, I'm about to take acid and just go with it?
Dude, it was the 70s. He was probably partying with a bunch of people before the game because he's famous, and then he's like, fuck, I gotta go pitch a game. So I'm tripping balls.
Or just the knowledge has been around for a while. That's why the 60s and 70s it blew up, and that knowledge of very intelligent, successful people saying that this benefits me.
Well, that's why it's such a shame that they stopped researching it altogether for 50 years because of drug prohibition and, the war on drugs and this thing. And it's such a shame, again, because, they lump every drug into this category. But now, finally now it's changing. People are, even what would it be, the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, they're taking these things into account, because they're realizing the efficacy of them. And
didn't you say Thomas Edison either was always tripping or was he on cocaine?
Yeah, he drank some wine that was called I forget what it was called, but it had essentially was wine with cocaine in it.
Oh, okay.
And he attributed. He's like, I would not have made all my discoveries if it weren't for this substance.
But that wasn't cocaine. Wasn't taboo.
It was legal back then. Still, yeah.
Like Hitler.
And it was probably strong as fuck.
Coca-Cola had cocaine in it when it was first invented.
That's why it was called that, right? Yeah.
Fucking caffeine.
I even read that there's I don't know. I feel like I read. I could be. All right, I'm going to preface this by saying I could be totally wrong, but I thought I remember learning that it still has very, very trace amounts of cocaine in it, technically because of the cocoa or some shit. But I don't know.
I believe it.
Yeah, fuck.
If they use some type of plant or something.
Can you pull that up, Tyler?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Jamie,
can you pull that shit up, Tyler?
I'm guessing it's so minuscule. It's like how there's a lot of
beer and shit too.
And foods that could have a certain amount of rep in it.
Well, it's if it's true at all, it's definitely that. It's definitely such a small amount that it's negligible. But
it just still mind blows me that every great famous person that invented something almost was on some sort of drug or
not everyone, but a lot of them,
or artists anyways. And
Sigmund Freud, the famous psychologist, was a huge proponent of cocaine. He thought that I think he's quoted saying that no human could reach their
full
deepest potential without doing cocaine.
That's great. Who was the
first thing, Coca-Cola does not contain cocaine anymore.
But there's still a connection to the production of the drug.
Okay, so
who's the movie writer?
They filter all that shit out now.
Who's the movie writer you always show me that someone did a time span of his day?
Hunter S. Thompson.
Yeah. You guys got to watch the video of Joe Rogan. There was a certain interviewer that followed around Hunter S. Thompson for a day and by the minute documented what he did. And when Joe fucking reads that shit out, it is
It's
It's unfathomable. Like, I
when
would die.
He gets
Same.
deeper in the cocaine bender, and it's like 10 minutes later, more cocaine. Like 5 minutes, a drink of scotch. 2 minutes later, more cocaine.
and then it's
he's
like
just- he's
5
doing
minutes
it more
later,
and more
massive
frequently.
amounts of
No,
cocaine.
he was like, all right, 9:12. Starts doing cocaine seriously.
Yeah. And then he does like eats like steak at like 5 in the morning.
He
He trips
start-
on acid at
Yeah.
like early in the morning too after doing
he
a bunch
took
of coke.
acid super late at night, and then it was like he had a whole day of drinking. He woke up like at 4, started getting heavy on booze and cocaine. Went to a restaurant. The food items was insane. Like probably like $1,000 worth of food, and then he did acid like at 10 at night. Ends in a jacuzzi. Like, he's just mess. And then he starts writing.
Yeah.
Like that's when he starts writing.
That's how he
after
gets
does
in his
that.
creative process.
I would just
Like,
be passed out.
That's what I'm saying.
I love that Louis C.K. skit when he's talking about like the show Mad Men. They're always drinking like huge glasses of whiskey at like 9 a.m. for like business, you know, like we just did something good.
That's every show, dude.
And then they're just like they go through the whole show and they're fine. He's like, if I did that, like 10 minutes later, I'd be like, fuck, why would I drink whiskey at 9 a.m.?
Breaking Bad. What
Dude,
was the
they're
one?
always cracking out bottles.
What was the one
Always.
with the fucking in Missouri? We just watched it.
Ozarks.
Ozarks, yeah.
Every single time they had a business meeting,
Yep.
they had 2 neat
Like neat,
glasses
yeah.
of this. I would be fucked up,
Yep.
dude, if I had 2 neat glasses of whiskey.
And they're like
that
chucking
were-
that shit.
Yeah.
They ask for like 2 or 3 of them
Yeah,
sometimes.
Hank was drinking whiskey
Dude,
all the time.
my dad told me that, like, you know, back in the day when, you know, I don't know, 80s and early 90s, maybe, I don't remember exactly when, but, like, it was very common for people to, like, grab drinks at lunch, business lunches. They'd all be drinking and shit. And, like,
very common in the
now,
restaurant.
now it's, like, pretty bad form to do that. You know, you're, like, grabbing neat drinks when you're at
yeah.
lunch, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was acceptable back then.
It was
When
different.
every time I went to like my grandpa's house or an elderly person's, they always had like those, just like the
Neat
whiskey.
they
had those like crystal
Yep.
glasses
That were
with the
nice as
fucking
fuck.
jar, and they took it out of the bottle, poured it into this like nicer bottle that was ingrained and stuff like that. But
Fucking
it was
the good old days.
the good old days. You could fight people when you had an argument. I think in in Portland, it is legal today. The cops will chaperone a disagreement. They'll let you fucking deuce it out.
Tyler's
Fight.
like, I need to move there now. I need to fight a lot of people.
I don't want to like.
I've heard, like, you know, even like in the 1800s, I forget what was I'm so terrible with presidents. Was Addison a president?
I don't know. presidents
I know
whatsoever.
Madison and Addison were probably presidents. I'm terrible. But either way, it was talking about how one of them died from a duel. Yeah, type in president dies from duel, 1800s. But, like, he challenged someone to a duel over something super stupid and ended up losing and dying.
Aaron Burr slays
Alexander Hamilton, yeah, that was the
one of the most famous duels in American history. Oh, wait, it was vice president versus president.
Oh my God.
The vice
Imagine that
president
going down now.
and the vice president won, so he becomes president.
That's what we
then,
don't
right?
realize though. Like even any social thing,
Mike Pence versus Donald Trump duel.
that's not gonna happen. They're butt buddies.
Yeah, they are butt
They
buddies.
suck each other's cocks.
Dude, it's gonna be so interesting when this like Ghislaine Maxwell shit comes out if Trump's involved, and same with Biden and shit. Just
Man, I'm just so like deflated about every little news story I hear that's going to take down Trump, because it's just, what have we been hearing for
Yeah.
4 years now?
It's all.
I hope it happens. Trust me.
I think it's
but
all
shit.
distraction.
I mean, it's just gonna be crazy. She released a bunch of a list of famous people like 2 days ago that were like came to.
Haven't
either-
they like shut it all off the internet and shit, or taken it all down?
I don't know. I saw
really
it on
don't
Facebook
think it
yesterday.
matters, man. Like Sam Harris was talking about, like Donald Trump is so open.
His name
with
wasn't
the-
even on the list though.
I know, but like Donald Trump,
So
could
there's some
come
crazy
out-
people there.
There could be a
Yeah.
Like
video of
Beyonce.
Donald Trump sexually assaulting
Dude.
somebody, and I still
Wait,
don't
wait,
think people. could do it.
Let's back up here for a second.
Let me try.
You're saying Beyonce is taking sex slaves?
she was on the. She at least visited the island.
Ew.
I heard Beyonce's a piece of shit, dude.
That's what I've
I've
heard,
heard
too.
multiple people say she is not the
Yeah, you
best
said you
person.
talked to some driver, right?
We
Yeah,
talked to.
there was a limo driver that I had, and he had Beyonce, and it was like a job, and he had like pretty much all of the food and snacks that she requested. He didn't have Skittles. She fucking blew up on him.
Oh yeah.
Where's my
Blew-
motherfucking Skittles?
Yeah, and there's
Tyler,
like,
the creator's stage manager, said she was a bitch too.
yeah, like Tyler, Creator's stage manager, was talking about when they didn't have the temperature of the room right, and of her green room, and she fucking blew a lid.
Yep.
That's what happens. We sat down with Tyler, Creator's manager, for like an hour, 2 hours at the job we were working at, and
He's in town working for Dance Festival.
Yeah, I mean, he's working with Tyler, Creator, so he's worked with
Some
Prince,
festival here.
everybody, and he said he just glorified us because he was like, yeah, I know you guys are good guys, but we were talking about all of our idols, and he's like,
your idols are not who you think they
Your
are.
idols
Jorge Masvidal's quote. I mean, he probably got it from someone else, but I heard him say it. But never meet your heroes.
yeah, because
They'll
they'll
always
disappoint you.
Always
yeah.
disappoint you.
And you get to
I thought about that a lot, actually. I was like, damn, like, I don't think I do want to meet any of the people.
I
You know,
know.
it'll probably just, like, I don't know, it takes away the, like, majesticness and, you know, the luster of this person.
But that's
I
also,
agree.
I think that's a problem in itself too. With
good point.
with
Putting them
celebra-
on a pedestal.
Yes, look at America. You know, look at these people that, let's say, Beyonce's fucking a terrible person, way worse than we're projecting.
Yeah.
And we don't know that. But like, think about the idolization and all the people at Beehive, and they just think these people are gods. And
Yep.
it's like, these people.
Maybe she had a couple shitty days, and we met the
No,
people
I get
that.
that.
you
I
know.
get that. But I'm saying a situation where the person is actually a bad person.
He said
you know,
Prince was
terrible.
an asshole.
And we
Okay, fair enough.
We idolize these people. We hate them and love them, but we never met them in the flesh, and that's a problem.
Yes.
You know, because we could be making a lot of people famous that fucking are terrible.
If you're out there and you idolize the famous smooth jazz guitarist Nick Coleone, he will do nothing but not let you down.
Yes. He was
Shout out
great.
Nicole.
Nick Coleone, man.
He was so funny. He
Windy
had some
City Cat.
He had some funny stories too, offset.
Love that guy.
He's one of the few people where I met a lot of dope people, but when I sat down with him, man, I could talk to him for hours.
And you
like,
could tell he was a good dude.
he didn't know us, and he didn't want us to leave. Like, we kind of had to, like, all right, it's probably time.
Well, yeah,
we were
you
there
know,
for like 5 hours.
That's
but-
cool because we had that podcast and whatnot. And people have seen that podcast, but let's follow up on that a little bit. That was such an amazing
Yeah, we
day
should
for us.
let's repost it and everything. Try to.
Yeah, we
circle
could
back
definitely
around
repost
and
that. But I mean,
everything.
I'm just saying right now for us, like, I know
Yeah.
we've talked about it, you know, to ourselves, but like, I don't know, like Tyler just said, to anyone that, you know, either saw the podcast or whatnot, you know, if you got the vibe that he's an amazing person, you're absolutely right. He's just such a good, open, humble, but yet interesting and
Smooth cat.
swag, dude. He's got swag like a motherfucker,
He
dude.
does.
Swaggy. My dad hit me up about him and was like, he was listening to him like the other day.
Yeah.
Because my dad's been jamming it since I've been listening to it now.
Nice.
Right.
Yeah, and he's amazing, dude. Like,
Really
his-
is.
If you like smooth jazz, it's a good genre what he plays. Like, if you're doing something like drawing or just hanging out.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, it's very good chill
It's
music.
good background music for
Yeah.
sure.
Yes.
For sure. But yeah. And it just shows this hard work. You know, his house was beautiful. What I want.
Hard work
musically,
pays off.
You know.
Yeah, it was
he
cool
went
to
through
see
a lot
some.
of struggle. He had a lot of success in his first album, and thought he was gonna blow up, and then didn't have any success on the next 3 albums, and almost gave it up, and then
Yeah,
pushed
I'm
through it.
30 and I haven't blown up yet, so it gave me some good inspiration, you know?
Yes,
Yeah. That just shows how hard it is, though.
yes,
It is
fucking hard.
not easy.
it's harder than you think.
Like, he had 2 big singles. His first album blew up, and he's like, oh,
Made
you know,
it.
I'm gonna get tour dates. I'm gonna get all this shit. Nothing happened.
Nothing.
And then the second 2 albums, full albums, be mine, like
Yeah.
huge albums, didn't go over. You just got to keep on pushing.
I mean, Matt kind of
Keep on
experienced it himself too, in a way, with winning that Unch challenge and being able to play some of the most major festivals in the country. Thinking he's going to get his name out and blow
Yeah.
up, and then realize that's not really how it goes. You still got to
Yeah.
keep grinding every day and
What was your
work hard at it.
like journey like with your mind after that? Did you feel like, oh man, like, because you were younger, you won that, you played all the festivals, like, did you expect way more?
Well, here's the thing. At first, the people that won the year before us, Filibuster, they
I know Filibuster,
yeah, Filibuster, yeah. And they started, you know, touring. They started, you know, getting better sets at summer camp, had a live band, all the shit. And so I was kind of like, all right, like, we won this competition, like, we're going to start getting things like this, you know, touring, blah, blah, blah. And then as the summer went on, I kind of realized, one, that wasn't the case. that Filibuster already had a pretty good career, not a career going, but played a lot of shows.
Yeah.
It wasn't their first show like it was for us, and then it's kind of morphed into this fear of like, is this going to be the highlight of my life? Like this summer where I play all these festivals and then this is it, Yeah. And so ever since then, it's just been like kind of trying to claw my way, not back to where we were, because we weren't there. That's the thing. It was kind of a bit of a mirage in the sense, we played 8 music festivals, but it's because we won this competition, and that's the only reason. We would have never gotten booked for all those festivals. Yeah. But now since then, we have gotten booked for, we've gotten booked for Sonic Bloom, actually. We got paid to be there.
There you go.
Actually,
you played there without, it was kind of like
all the festivals you didn't get no payment.
Wait, for the challenge?
Challenge. Oh, no payment.
Damn. They should have given you something.
You had to pay. Yeah. Here's the thing, though. They had to work really hard just to get those time slots, So they're like, you got to get there on your own, and they're not going to pay you. And so there's a real test of, like, how bad do you want it? Yeah. So I was like, all right, I'll open up another credit card and put myself further in debt to make this happen. And, I was, like, selling TVs and shit to get gas money to drive to New Jersey and blah blah blah. So I've definitely put myself out there, and I'm still paying back the repercussions of it. But I have faith that that eventually, like, that couple $1,000, all that shit won't be a fucking dent.
Not a
fucking dent.
But that's why I have so much empathy for people. Like, if you don't do an art, like, it's so easy to talk if you've never walked, and you said you won the challenge and it was a mirage, but even if you were a big artist, your success is still a mirage when it comes to art, because that shit could go away quicker than, like, it's different than being a CEO compared to you're just making magic out of thin air.
Produce magic anymore, then there goes your
and that
career.
can happen though to individuals.
I think that's a perfect example of, like, I see this differences in artists. Like, there's an artist that is an amazing artist and a purist in a way, and maybe has this moment of fame or moment of success. But then the people that are, like, having this residual success, where even if they're not touring or whatever, it's the people that have the branding down,
Yeah.
And they have, like,
makes them last.
Yeah, it's like there's more to them than just their art. It's like their personality means something to the fan.
Yeah. It makes this, like, community that's kind of, like, unbreakable.
Yes, like, look at Liquid Stranger. I mean, he has a whole label and a whole thing now.
There's 2 labels now, I think.
Yes.
They opened a down tempo one.
I haven't heard any releases on it yet, but I remember him announcing it's going to be.
I haven't heard much about it, but I know.
But yeah, I think he saw the bigger picture, where he was like, okay, I'm having some success as an artist, doing some big opening shows, whatnot. But now I want to build something for myself that's going to be bigger than just him, Yeah. And he's got fucking Wakanda, which is really cool.
And it creates something different that lasts more. It's not just the music. Because we could name so many little bass artists, and we think about, like, oh, they get this pop off a song. But if you think about, like, Tool, like, why is Tool?
Yes.
Why can't they could not release something for, like, 10 years, and then you release something and it's just like this cult following. Yeah. That once you have to get to that level first.
And obviously it's hard to get to that level, but one thing that I see for sure is that if you're never willing to break out of, like, the kind of either standard norm of whether it be, like, dubstep or whatever subgenre of that you feel that you fall into and are having some success in. Like you said, if you have that song, like, a perfect example, like, he's really killing it as an artist and making a great career for himself. Like DMVU, he had Blocked, that song popped off, Bass Nectar dropped it a bunch of times, and now he's got a career going that's, like, really, robust. But at the same time, well, I say this, he's pretty experimental, but I think people, to get to that next level of timelessness, there needs to be something else. I don't know what it is, obviously.
It's got to be different than what you're hearing from every other artist, too. Because every artist,
what I'm getting
because a lot of artists, they make what people want to hear, but it's like Grizz, who makes heart from or music from, like, the soul, and then he also has those banger albums that he knows people kind of want to hear, those dubstep tracks and stuff that probably aren't going to be timeless songs, but he's got those timeless songs like We Can Roll and Good Friends and stuff like that are they have more elements to it besides just the dubstep, like what you're talking about. It's got like a saxophone, then it's got like a nice breakdown that's pretty, and then it's got like a heavy, nice drop with like some good words that are gonna last and stick to your heart. You know, it's got more elements to it besides just a womp 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 womp, just like that typical what everyone's hearing. And I
Which
think
is fun at a party to dance to.
And that's why a lot of artists make that music, but it's those artists like Grizz and Pretty Lights who stand out, and like Tool, because they have they make the songs, I think, I don't know, that have more elements to it and that bring more of a different vibe to it at different moments throughout the song and just kind of keep you more interested in a different way. And I feel like that's why those artists are able to kind of stand out more.
I've said this before, I think, but either way, fucking that Subtronics and Grizz collab, you know, this shit be hitting different. That was like the biggest song of the year that year or whatever. And like, who's going to be coming back to that 5 years from now?
Exactly.
Or 10
No.
years
Yeah. I
from
mean,
now,
you don't even hear it now, really. It's because they made it a banger.
Moves so fast, dude. The scene, that whole electronic scene, it's like interchangeable, replaceable, and the thing that keeps it moving is the sound design. The sound design keeps getting crazier, and people are like, "What? That sounds nuts!" But like, it's just not. I find the songs even that I find craziest, I don't come back to myself. Even I'm like, okay, what's next? You know. And it's interesting, and I don't want that. It's weird. I want to fight that somehow. No, I don't want to fight it. I just want to encourage more people to diverge from
I feel like
that.
some of my favorite songs are songs that aren't even really popular now because, like you said, everyone's looking for that new sound and then follows that wave, and they forget about a sound that's already been created a year ago. I feel like some of those are like still my favorite songs because that wave is the songs I want to hear in the moment because they're popular and that's what everyone's playing, and I'm at a club or a bar or something or a show, but they're not songs that I want to listen to.
There's also an urge to be like very prolific and put out as much material as possible, you know.
Exactly, because
Again,
a lot
to
of
keep
those
people's attention.
and a lot of those artists, they're playing every major festival. They have to keep that new material coming of just a slightly different drop that's still just heavy.
I remember watching some like, what is that festival? Lost Lands. It was like a Lost Lands live feed, and it was like 4 people on stage, and they were like, "We just made this song now backstage like 10 minutes ago," and it was like a total banger. And I'm like, all right, like sick, but fuck, dude, come on. Doesn't that kind of say like something about it? I don't know.
Exactly. It's just like it
took us literally no effort to put this together.
Once you have,
you guys love it, right?
Once you have like the sound design down and just the element of how to make a heavy banger, it's just they just put them out just to put them out and just slightly change the sound design on them just because people will go crazy to them, but they aren't songs that will last. But those artists still have those songs that will last, like Blocked with DMVU. That'll always be remembered with DMVU, but some of it's more experimental
that song did make it to like a little bit of a next level. Everyone was dropping.
You always go back to that.
And think about why it did compared to some of his other songs, because there's just so many nice elements.
I think the vocal sample.
You know,
it's catchy.
It is. It's very catchy, and then it has a nice whoa.
The wubs are sweet too.
Yeah.
And it's a different kind of wub that you normally hear almost.
That really low frequency shit.
Yeah.
It's not just that standard just bass low frequency that you normally hear.
Your frequency spectrum engulf the entire hearing range.
I think there's a commonality, but it's also a dichotomy like of music moves fast, but when we say the music that moves fast is the very bangery.
It's the bangers.
It's the bangers, and that's what changes.
Those
a lot
10-minute
of music.
tracks.
Let's say like hip hop. Like think about Meek Mill blowing up. Why isn't Meek Mill as big as everybody else? Because he's just a banger artist, and there's like that style of rap that was blowing up back in the day, and the bangers move quick, but the commonality of the songs that last, there's timeless music, you know. There's good music, there's chill music, like Grizz. That's why
there totally is. You're right. I guess like I just see Lost Land selling 50,000 festival tickets, you know. And it's clearly like at least a part of what's very popular. If you go bigger, like, you know, Zoo and like Faded and things like that, those are like timeless songs that are like they've even jumped to the next level of like almost pop, you know. But not, if that makes any sense. But like this is like it's like the underground but still huge scene that is exploded of dubstep and the EDM scene, whatever the hell you want to, and you know, label that as.
Definitely.
music
Music
is tight.
What were we talking about right before this? We were kind of tired today.
Yes.
I was gonna ask you, or we were gonna ask each other, like, would you as artists, we just have this like, people just don't understand. Like there's this like constant cloud of guilt, anxiety.
Every minute you're not working on your art, you feel guilty.
Yeah.
Especially when you're not there yet.
And then you realize, and it's this back and forth between like, no, like taking the break, going on the run, taking a nap if you feel tired I think it will make you the better artist, but there's still that like feeling of guilt.
Yeah.
Why is that?
And then those days you're actually too tired to work and you don't work, it's rough.
And you're playing NASCAR over there.
Hey, at least I'm
You gotta
turning
take
left.
the break though.
Turning
You're first,
left.
you're last.
Yeah. There's so
But,
many philosophical quotes on like just why would you do anything forced? So if you're feeling like taking that nap and
Well, see, the problem is the why is not always the same. So, for instance, we were all an hour ago or whatever it was up on the couches in the living room. I just got done with work. You guys looked pretty chill. And I'm like, fuck, we know we should do a podcast tonight. So I brought it up. I was like, should we go do a podcast? And the responses were a bit underwhelming. But now we came down here. We've had a great conversation. And it's like sometimes you do have to just give yourself that little push. But there's a balance. It's the balance is the hard part.
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
crazy, like learning how tiring it makes your brain though. Like you don't realize it's like you're always saying driving a car. Like, why am I so tired while driving? It's because your brain is literally focusing on the road and like
Receiving all these
scanning all this
information.
shit really going on. But even though you're not doing anything, it tires you out. And it's like after studying and learning all day, it's just like, fuck, I'm tired.
That's
but
that's the bandwidth of a human being.
yeah, it's just like
you realize that too. Like
Matt's always bringing that up, the bandwidth.
Right.
Right.
I
So
always
much.
I thought about it after I've read it, but like you realize truly like when I wake up now, I used to like probably check my phone, fucking put that thing upside down. I don't check my phone at all when I wake up because I feel the repercussions from that later in the day.
Yep.
That sets your tone for the whole day. If you're going up, replying to people on fucking whatever Instagram, and I'm already losing focus of what my dream is. So I already used bandwidth. You only have 100%, and then I'll go down, and so that's just how you have to
I
look
didn't
at
even
your
check
day.
my phone really in 3 days. My parents have been calling me. And I haven't even
I took
replied.
Facebook off my phone, and I haven't checked Facebook in the last 2 days.
Nice.
Which is a cool feeling.
Nice.
Because that same thing, I would find myself compulsively going to it. Like my thumb is trained like
just
an
hit it.
exorcist hand to go right, possessed right to like Facebook, and I'll find myself scrolling and reading things like, oh, like I just ate a 12-inch pizza, like it was awesome, and then it was like,
If somebody gave you $1 million, would you run over these 5 cats?
these things, and then people, and then I get myself sucked in. I don't do this anymore, but I definitely have in the somewhat near or recent past get sucked into some political argument or something, and I always find myself vulnerable to these things right when I wake up, and 2 hours later, I'm like, why did I even bother
Why did I waste my
responding?
time?
And say, why? And so it's been really good, like. Something that's been helping me, I don't know, you guys, I'm curious to maybe have you guys try this out and see what you feel about it, but I often feel overwhelmed by the amount of things I want to work on. So, I have
Same.
guitar to practice, piano to practice. I want to work on sound design. I want to practice the saxophone. I want to actually work on my songs themselves.
Masturbate.
You got to masturbate. There's a lot of things that you need to do in a day, and you got to masturbate at least 4 to 5 times to
That's what I'm
stay
saying.
healthy. So
Fucking pretty tough time schedule.
So what I yesterday, what I did was oh yeah, I do need another beer. I just focused on a couple things, I was like, okay, today I'll produce, and I don't know, I did something else, but today I just worked on my song, and then I played piano, and so tomorrow maybe I'll do the producing is always the most important to me, so I want to work on my music. That's always a constant, and then maybe tomorrow I'll do saxophone as much as I can, and I feel like spreading it out and just kind of making each day focused will help me not be so overwhelmed with this
What to
plethora of things to choose from to what to do.
I definitely feel that. I've tried that several times, and I just always find myself say I'm not supposed to produce this day, but then I pick up my laptop and I produce, and then I end up liking producing, and then
me and Tyler were
I
talking.
just get off on the wrong schedule, or say I'm not supposed to play piano today, but I feel like playing piano, and then
Me and Tyler were talking about this, but I feel like because where I'm at with my music, I know I have music I want to release for sure, and so I have a bunch of songs I can work on mixing and all these different things.
That's where
whereas you guys are more like writing music all the time, you know.
Yeah.
And so it's like you can't always feel inspired to write. I definitely feel
Definitely.
that.
Which I've been
what were you
noticing.
saying you did?
Basically,
I was
just takes each like piano play like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Say guitar Tuesday, Thursday. Like
not even
basically
not even planning it,
but
just
spread them out basically like that.
Today I just woke up and I was like, I produced music and then I worked on piano and I did those things, you know, only, but a little bit more than I normally would. Okay. And so just kind of having a couple things a day to focus on is it already feels a little bit less overwhelming than having to choose from all of these things and trying to maybe fit a bunch of like 5 things. Yeah. I've definitely done days like that where I'll do a half an hour of saxophone, half an hour of guitar, you know, maybe half an hour of piano.
That's
I'll work on a song. I'll do sound design, and by then it's like I wonder if I'm retaining as much as I would be if I just kind of.
That's kind of how my schedule is. I do like basically that. I try to knock everything out.
It's not going to be bad.
It's almost like 2 in shambles. Like there's too much shit.
Yeah, there's too much.
Like I said, I've tried that technique and I just always fall out of it because
you guys are really good about your notebooks and staying organized with your notes and whatnot. Which
you're not.
I just find you
know what's sad. You know what's
his notebooks.
You got stuff.
Pretty crazy.
You got some stuff in Tyler's notebook. You got some stuff.
You know what's sad is that I've been wanting to buy a new notebook for a while and I'm so poor.
I need to
I open my notebook.
I want to buy a nice printer and scanner because like I have
notebook.
all of our Seth Drake's like in detailed notes. I have the
Wait, who's Seth Drake?
I have the serum shit in detail. So like, and I want to scan those and basically just make like a notebook for the house.
Yeah.
But like we don't
want to
have a
like
nice printer
laminate
scanner.
things.
Yeah, like I
do
want
like
to
laminate it and get a
yeah,
binder.
put it in a binder.
Yeah. The
And,
biggest thing that
detailed,
helps
like
me
mixing,
is
mastering.
oh my god, you pissed me off so much.
Yeah, you
Dude, in college we used to have
you need to learn how to pour beer.
Sorry. We used to have quartets in college. And, you know, there'd be 4 guitar parts next to each other. So it would take up like 20 pages. And then you'd have to go through and cut out just your part and then like paste it all onto a new piece of paper. And then some people would laminate them, make
That
a nice
sounds like a
thing.
bitch.
It was kind of annoying, but it made you committed to that damn part. That's for sure.
Yeah. I definitely want to get organized in that type of way.
How I do it right there, I got it on my board, but like
It's looking pretty full right now.
So full.
It's pretty empty.
That's been the same since we put it up there and cleaned the basement.
No, it's not true. It's mentally. I make timers though.
Okay, you did change it to August at least.
I make timers though, but like I have it divided. Like if I was gonna work somewhere I didn't want to fucking work, I was probably gonna work 8 hours there, or at least 8 hours. So I should be spending that time working on music. So if I like have, and another thing like with time, if you set like an alarm, it's so crazy. If I dive into producing, I've like set an alarm to like 30 minutes until I have to go to work. And you sit down and work for 30 minutes, it's not even like anticipating it, but like, man, a lot of time has went by. When is that alarm?
It goes by so fast.
When's that alarm gonna go off?
So,
you know, and you have a lot of time to do shit.
This is a little off that subject, but I started meditating again. I've been trying to get like more organized about that. And so like 2 weeks ago I would just do 10 minutes. And then, you know, I got up to 12 last week, and then today I did my first 15-minute one. Nice. And it's I'm getting better at it, but I know that feeling is so interesting where you're like, God, I'm trying not to be anxious about wondering how much time has gone by, but how much fucking time has gone by?
Well, that's the most, with meditating, that's even enhancing that.
Like to the max.
Yeah, because I'm doing shit. I'm busy, but like if you're meditating and nothing's going on, that time will go way slower.
I've noticed when I like try to start meditating that I would either anticipate on the time, or if I got so relaxed I would just fall asleep until my timer went off.
That's part of it. You know, a lot of the good people that I've heard instructions from, just like basically say don't judge that, just be aware of it. You just kind of mark it like, oh, this is what it feels like to be anxious, waiting for the time to go back to focusing on your breath.
Is it okay to fall asleep when you're meditating?
Well, it's so funny. I did 15 minutes earlier and then laid down in my bed immediately and took a nap before my first lesson. I was like, man, I'm pretty tired after that.
Like I've gotten a couple times where I'm just so
guessing
relaxed
that if you don't go to sleep, you're doing what meditation's supposed to, because
you're not supposed to be sleepy,
just like you're feeling anxious. It's the same with I'm feeling tired. No,
but I feel like if you're falling asleep, at least at first you're still you're focusing on being relaxed though. At the
That's
same
true.
point.
There's a balance.
Anxiousness, yeah.
That's why they say not to do it like meditate laying down.
'Cause,
you're supposed to be sitting straight up because you can easily get sleepy.
Just
But
go
it's so
into a
funny. Me and
state.
Tyler one time, I was telling him like about these silent meditation retreats and whatnot, and he's like, "Dude, let's do it. Let's go for a month. Like, I want to go into it." And I was like, "All right, let's just be quiet right now for like 30 seconds." We both sat there and they were like, "Fuck, this is super hard." Because you want to talk to each
I
other.
could never do it. I always
do it.
when you played that like
We're going to.
when you
Yeah.
played that like
We should
don't
build up
talk
to
game
it.
as a kid, I was always the first person to talk because I'm just like silence sucks. Like,
I kind of don't want to. I know what you're saying. Build up to it, but like I kind of want to get so fucked. I want to
I
get.
promise you'll
I
feel
know-
overwhelmed.
I know, but no.
No, you'll just be like, "I can't do this." I think you would give up.
No.
No, a month
I'm telling
silent
you.
retreat,
But it's
having
because-
no experience with meditation.
can't
No,
do
it's
it.
because
you
the.
gotta practice that silence, Bob, bro. You better go silence on us.
I'm the type of motherfucker. If we booked a trip to like India to do a silence retreat, it's be like, okay, this is crazy, but just the fact that I'm committing, like going to India, do all this
I wanna-
shit, I would
Can
fucking
you,
hold
will
out
you
and I would
commit
do
for
that
a
shit.
day at like the house? Because I bet you couldn't do it.
Bet.
Okay.
What do you want to bet? Buy me wings at.
I mean, you can't just
from,
lock yourself away in the room the
No,
whole time. You
I
gotta
will
like
walk.
be
I will
around. Yeah.
be right in your guys' faces, looking at you.
Here's
like
my
this.
suggestion, though. No, I think you should have to lock yourself in the room. That'll be harder. Here's
That
my
would.
suggestion, though.
Oh, that would be harder.
We should all go camping one time and just do it for a night. Start there. Camp and not
couldn't
say
do it,
words.
though.
It would
I
be hard
already
as
know I
fuck.
couldn't,
Yeah, it'd be
so,
really
like,
hard.
I'm not even gonna try.
Let's start with a day here.
I mean, I'm not even gonna try because
Next
I know
week.
I couldn't do it.
Next weekend, we're doing silent.
I don't know about that, man.
Sunday.
I already know I couldn't do it. So I'm not
Dude,
even gonna
let's
try.
do a silent podcast.
What's that? Can you tell about the concert?
Yeah, I was literally just about to say that.
John Cage, he's a famous
Wait.
like avant-garde composer, and he wrote this piece called 2 minutes and 43 seconds or something like that, and it's just a blank sheet is what the score is, and there's just instructions that say walk out onto the piano bench and open up the music and sit there silently for 2 minutes and 43 seconds and then walk off the stage. And the whole thing is, the song is all the coffee.
So groundbreaking.
Yeah, it's very groundbreaking. All the noises you hear in the crowd and, the little sniffles and people being like, what the fuck is going on with this song?
I totally
Okay, that
get it
wasn't-
because our huge auditorium full
Yeah.
of people, like you understand, like you really do, like
There will be sound.
it's
yeah.
I get it.
that's a meditation.
It's cool.
It's meditation.
He definitely combined the worlds of music and philosophy. It was like a philosophical statement.
Super deep.
Very
I saw
deep.
this thing. It was
I would
like
never
a
think about that.
like a speaker or something who didn't speak though. He would just go to like places and just stare at the crowd, and they would just be like, "Oh my god, yes!" Like, and I'm just like,
Just tilting their head at
yeah,
different
like
angles.
that's what I'm saying.
Maybe
I
we're
don't
missing
even
the
know
cue,
what it
man.
was, but like that's literally what it was.
I
He would
think
go
we're doing
around
it all wrong.
silencing people.
We could be successful in music right now. We could be playing Red Rocks if we just didn't do anything.
let's just make vision boards in our room about what we want our future to be, and we'll just sit in our rooms and just wait for that to happen.
I'm down.
That's how it works, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Tight.
Where?
So,
I was doing it right now. I was doing it for the audience. Just listen to your breath
okay, all right, everyone, be quiet.
for 30 seconds. That's a lot of time. Even that is 30 seconds.
Man,
30
those
seconds.
beans got
30
you.
seconds- This is a long time. Louis C.K. has a skit. He was talking about. I'm gonna perform it on my microphone, but he was talking about. I'll try the best anything. Best dick. If somebody came up to me and said, "This is the best dick. It's been soaking in olive oil for 12 years. You have a chance to suck it right now." And he was talking about how long 30 seconds is, and he was like, "Okay, I'll decide. 30 seconds. I'm just gonna put the tip in my mouth." And he pulls out his stopwatch. And he's like, 30 seconds. He's like, 30 seconds goes by, and he's like, "You're not debating on sucking that dick anymore. You are sucking that dick. That thing has been in your mouth for 30 seconds."
It's a long ass time.
But time is, people don't, we just get
It
so
flies,
shambled.
but then it doesn't. It takes forever.
Yeah, we get so shamed. Like people get off work and it's like, oh, I want to do all these things and have all these dreams. Okay, when do you go to sleep? You got off work. Let's say you worked fucking 9 to 3 or whatever, 7 to 3.
Most people get home at like 6.
Okay, 7 to 3. You get home at 6. What time do you truly go to bed? 10, 11. You fucking have time to do shit, and that's the hard thing about life. All these people,
Especially
people
when you
get
only
handed
do like
things.
one thing. People are like, oh, I wish
Yeah.
I could just play guitar. It's like
Fucking
pick up
do
you
it.
have 15 minutes a day.
30 minutes a day at
Yeah.
least. 30 minutes a day. I forgot who I was
like
talking.
to
I was
do
talking to
one
this
thing
girl,
you
and
can
she was
do.
talking about, oh yeah, like I want to get guitar. I struggle. I'm like, do you spend 30 minutes at least a day? Do you spend 15 minutes a day? Oh no. Okay, then don't talk to me.
Dude, talk is cheap, man.
is.
People love to talk about how they want to do things, and they don't love actually putting in the time and shittiness and self doubt that comes along
'Cause
with
it
doing
takes a
those
lot.
things.
No matter what it is, if you want to do something
Yeah.
that you're passionate about or that you talk about, it takes a lot.
I know it seems lame, but
There's a
dude,
lot of
I
ups and
love
downs.
fucking Tony Robbins, man. And Tony Robbins, I don't even like saying that because he has such a like, oh, people have a thing against self help. It's not fucking lame. Tony Robbins rules, but he has this whole thing about like, just like write down all your craziest dreams, like no limitations. Like, what would you do if you had an infinite amount of money? All these things, and just like let that inspire you. And it doesn't. You don't need those things to happen, but they're never going to happen if you don't do anything. That's
Exactly.
for sure.
I don't
you
think
know?
that's cheesy though.
No, that's why
like
that's why I backed up. I was like, no, fuck
That's
that.
real as fuck.
It's cheesy because people like make fun of Tony
I know.
Robbins.
Well, people make fun of self-help books
They-
in general.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But like, fuck them, right? You know.
People that make fun of self-help books have never really done shit. I've never
always-
heard somebody that talk shit about a self-help book that
Okay,
is
well,
not
what's
success-
interesting is
successful.
what made me kind of think of it as my friend Nico. He's very successful, but he was like, no, I'm not really into self-help, but I'll check this out.
Yeah.
It wasn't even me. It was someone else telling me a story about some book they recommended to him. And I was like, huh, it's a funny like stigma people have about self-help books. Like somehow, I feel like somehow they think it weakens them. You know, like, oh, I don't need this book, or I don't need this possible
People hate
wisdom
asking
from
for
this
help in
very
general.
intelligent person.
It's the
Yeah,
same.
yeah,
it's
good
the-
point.
I
People
think
are
it's
too
the
scared
same.
to ask for help.
Yeah,
Right.
and it's the same. Like, I mean, there's obviously different individuals that have different experiences, but self-help book, like, think about it as people. Like, I wake up in this house and imagine the same attitude. It's like, oh, self-help. I don't need self-help. Compared to, I wake up with this energy of lifting each other up. Like, you guys are self-help books in itself, and I'm around that energy, you know. And
Totally.
do you want to do great things? You're not going to do it just by yourself. You want a bunch of really positive
People around you.
yeah, that want to grow, and you're reading that, and that's helping you also. Like,
Yeah, I mean, a book is just an opportunity to like gain wisdom from someone that is either more intelligent than you, or has more life experience, or hopefully has something you don't have that you hope to gain from
Yeah.
reading the book. Why are you wasting your time otherwise? You know, unless it's for enjoyment, it's like fiction or something. But you know, I really enjoy reading. I guess you could classify them as self-help books. You know, for me, it's like mental fuel. Every time I read, I can read a couple sentences of this one book, Mastery by Robert Greene. Everyone should absolutely read it. Amazing.
we should
But-
have a book club. We should do like a monthly book that we talk
should.
about,
I
because
would
we
love
read a
that.
lot of books, you know?
Yeah,
I do
We
not.
actually read books, believe it or not, guys.
Yeah. Leaders are readers.
Leaders are fucking readers.
Yeah.
Sorry, leaders are readers.
It's so crazy. I was a jock in high school, but I was also like a closet nerd. Like, I just wanted to do so many things that the people I was around, it was like, what, are you gay? You know, seriously. Like that. Those were
Yeah.
the comments I got, and that was the bullshit I got.
When I was in 4th grade, I showed up. I had, last few days shown interest in joining the Jackson Readers Club, and I was playing my friend's piano, and I showed up, and they were like, "You're a girl, like you like girl stuff, and like you want to be part of the book club, blah blah." And I was like shunned by my friends for like only an hour, but like because I wanted to read.
Yeah.
Yep.
And look at the people that have that outlook, and look at the people that are the ones that were nerds, or the ones that were fucking literally being called
successful.
gay. They're the successful ones because they have
Absolutely.
an open mind. They like doing things that are productive, not talking about like sports and back in my day, used to throw a pigskin a fucking quarter mile and see those fucking mountains over there, motherfuckers.
And I try not to demean that anymore because like we've talked about, like there's more to sports than just that, right? There's the community, the
bonding,
the leadership,
yeah.
the bonding, the showing of greatness.
That's also spiritual one-upsmanship on my part to say,
that's kind of what I'm trying to
now
back
I'm
off
the
from
nerd
saying
that fucking has this outlook, and then you're stupid, but that's also negative in itself. And
Well,
that's not how you
I
wanna
told you
raise
this
people
one
up.
time. I had this revelation. Like, I couldn't stop laughing about the fact that people made their whole careers and dedicated their whole life about throwing a ball through a circle. It was just the funniest thing to me, and I couldn't stop laughing about it. And again, talk about like
It's like Cartman with the short man.
yeah, and like talking about putting myself on a pedestal and like one-upsmanship and like what I think of is interesting is more important. People could say the same thing about music. It's like it's just about music. It's just random notes, random patterns. It doesn't have any meaning. You're taking meaning from something that's not there. But again, there's so much more to sports, and I've tried to be more open to that. But at the same time, sports ball and all the very important things that go with sports ball, as you know, I'm very into.
I had that.
I am so bad now. I don't know any football players.
I don't know.
I don't know shit.
I don't know professional sports or like anything
I don't
anymore.
know
Like I like
anything.
the sports, but I don't follow them or anything.
The thing that hit me really bad with sports is I was seeing change after music festivals. So I was the biggest jock, and then started going to music festivals, found this new outlook, experienced this new outlook, and like it really hit me. Like the average of plastic cups that are used at sporting events, fucking like hundreds of thousands. Like think about 100,000 plastic cups used. That takes, what is it, like 800 years to decompose or something like that?
Yeah.
And for one sporting event of these people throwing around football, like that is crazy.
Well, again, it sounds like such a douchey Colorado thing to say, but since I've lived here, you see people that they respect the beauty around them because there's so much of it. Yeah. And so there's more of a conscious attitude towards these things. Like, and my ex, I never would have thought of this back in Chicago because no one else thinks of this, but we would go grab a couple drinks from 7-Eleven or a snack, and, do you want a bag for that? And every time she'd be like, no, like we don't need a bag, and I'm like, we don't need a bag every time we buy another item that's already wrapped in plastic
I hate that.
contained. And when I'm back in Chicago now, I always notice it every time I'm at a store and someone buys something. Do you want a bag? Like, yeah, definitely.
So
like,
many
no
bags in
thought
Illinois.
about it, And then like if you bring it up, you're that guy. You're the guy that's like, oh, well, actually, like, it's bad for the environment, but it's fucking
it
true.
fucking is.
And so that's a stigma we need to break too. Like, I remember one time talking about like hybrid cars and how they're good, and my friend was just like, oh, they're gay, like, which is such a lame thing to say. And it's just I don't know, it's sad that people associate, I've even seen it with global warming, that like somehow this global warming has gotten associated with like being a Democrat or being a liberal.
Yeah.
And so now there's like conservative friends of mine that like either question the validity of global warming being a real thing, or what have you, various versions of that and a various spectrum of that. What's up,
Blair.
Kiki?
And that comes to the point where just the stupidity of right now where we're at in society. It's like we've been, because of the candidates, because
God's trying
of
to get
our
drunk.
structure, like we have this divide now where things that are associated with like, I'm on this side, you're on this side.
Exactly.
And
It's a loss of objectivity because of this
Yes.
partisanship,
And that's
it's
not how.
sad.
Do you guys want to improve in society? We're in this shit together. We're talking about millions of people that are on that side and millions of people that are on this side.
Right.
I don't know the exact numbers, but like as a society, like what are we gonna do? Like there's gonna be a divide of millions and millions of people, or
Well,
are we
and
gonna
that's-
lift each other up and
Well, and-
understand each other?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the sad part too, is that this divide that you're talking about has made it appear that there's a divide in the science and there's a divide in the conjecture about global warming,
Yeah.
which is not the case. I say this example a lot, but like for myself, I've dedicated my life to music. I know music in and out pretty well. Not the best, but a lot.
Not the best at all.
Not the best at all, but I know a lot about it, and I'm
Terrible.
confident in what I know about it. There's objective truths about it. And so I would like to give people that have the 97% of scientists or whatever it is that have dedicated their lives to geology and understanding the atmosphere,
Literally
that they probably know,
97%.
that they probably know a little bit more about it than I do.
Yeah.
And they can show, if you want to go read through like the tens of thousands of scientific journals that show objective truths as to what's happening, then do it. I don't have time to do that, but I do trust in the scientific process. That's why we have these computers and iPhones.
And now we're in this climate that has been completely enhanced by the current president, because openly we're to a point right now where truth doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, he'll make claims
literally lie to your face, and that hurts socially. That trickles down. The most powerful man in the United States says something completely false, and then he will look in the face and say, "Oh."
Doesn't care about his word.
Yeah,
Yes.
but that has a major effect on everything. Let's talk about things that are science, like ingrained science. And now it's like, oh, well, your opinion might, no. Your opinion doesn't
Right.
fucking matter. There's truths, and whatever you feel about it, that doesn't matter, because there's this
opinion.
thing that is real.
That's why I've tried to explain to, I've talked to people that are Christian that have questioned the validity of evolution, talking about statements, really, really unfounded and uneducated statements like, oh, it's still just a theory. It's called a theory. Well, it's also called the theory of gravity. A theory is actually the most sought after scientific conclusion you could reach. A theory is supported by a ton of facts and a ton of, studies.
Theory is the most credible answer to something.
Exactly. And so, when you have something, when you're talking about like evolution and our knowledge of genes and DNA, like, okay, you want to say it's not true? Well, we wouldn't be able to edit genes and to clone sheep and to do all of the things successfully that we have done without this knowledge of genetics that has also led us to the same conclusion about the origin of species and things. And it's like I hate to say it because I sound like a pretentious, but it's uneducated. It's lacking an understanding of truth and objective truth and the difference between an objective truth and a subjective opinion. Evolution is not an opinion.
Yeah.
We're beyond that.
Yeah.
It is a crystallized fact. Exactly.
Like to put it in terms like very drastically, it's like gravity. There's a theory to that, but there's like, let's say, oh, well, God keeps us down here, like very drastic quote. But
there's a perfect example.
People will say these things. It's like, okay, you can feel that, but there's this thing that is what it is.
Well, I remember learning that in high school in biology, or maybe it was physics. It would make more sense for it to be physics, but before we understood gravity and the laws of motion, the only explanation we had for why, if I picked up this bottle cap and throw it at you, is that a magical god or something carried it across the room,
Yeah.
That was the best guess we had for what was happening.
Clearly, it's gravity.
Well, maybe not clearly at the time because we didn't understand it yet. Now we know.
Yeah.
And that's often what happens too, is once we learn something, we look back and say, how could it have been any other way? How did we not understand this, But back then, there was just so much we didn't understand. But that's the beauty of the scientific method. You come up with a hypothesis and you prove it with a
Studies,
reproducible test or
multiple
study.
scientists trying it.
And then multiple scientists often try to prove you wrong because they think
Exactly.
you're wrong. And then when every test they do shows the
That
same
you're right.
results, there's really no going back,
That's when it becomes a theory.
And what sucks too is when people, especially like Christianity sometimes, they look through the world with this lens and they're like trying to either validate or justify their Christian beliefs, and then that's going to push them away from seeing what actual truth might be there,
Agreed.
So
The biggest thing I don't understand
also have
about
to pee.
fucking religion is like, we were talking about in Donnie's garage. It's like these people now in modern society, because there's so many backlash, like they just believe this thing, but they take the sections right now that you could say, but if you just read the Bible, like talking about having wenches and having slaves and
It was horrible.
all that shit, and you believe this thing and all this, like, why were there so much craziness involved in it that you don't even say anymore?
Yeah.
People, I'm sure there's some nut jobs that still, oh, this is what slaves.
I mean, we were watching that movie that supposedly Jesus sent down like angels to just murder towns and shit of people.
Yeah,
you said like
I forgot I'm gonna
what
look it
the
up. I'm gonna look it
fuck?
up. There was a battle. Do you remember the battle that they were talking about?
I don't know shit about Jesus.
No. We were talking about the other day. There was this town that was known for like having sex with other people, and they had a very openly sexual society. What was that town? It was the story of like, and then God sent down a bunch
Sodom and Gomorrah.
of yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes. And there's all these crazy, violent, just completely unacceptable stories in the Bible, and this is where you base your religion off of. Like,
And
this is where you find your
It's
love.
like they overlook those things too, and just
Yeah,
like,
well, they cherry pick. They cherry
pick.
They'll be
you
like,
said.
"Oh, see, Jesus said that men can't lay with other men." It's like, okay, well, then it also says in the same book that you should stone women for adultery. Like,
Yeah.
which one's which?
no. We're gonna take this one.
Yeah, fuck that one.
Like if
No,
you're
no,
gonna
no.
believe it, you gotta believe the whole fucking thing. You gotta.
Well, what is that dude I was talking? Oh, Steven Pinker. He talks about that. Like, fucking people, when you really push, they don't actually get their morality from the Bible. They think they do, but they don't. They get their morality from like common social norms and from the way
that's a natural
the society
human
is.
being.
But they think that they get it from the Bible, and they again cherry pick these other things to add to their claimed morality and say that gay people can't be in love with each other.
Yeah. It's a very natural thing to understand without religion. Like, no matter what, I mean, I can't say no matter what, but like, I'm not religious at all, and I feel like I'm like kind of pretty good guy. You know, I'm not bad, but like,
Yes, Sam Harris has a whole book called The Moral Landscape.
Yeah.
And that's his main thesis, is that
you don't
religion-
need
you don't need it. Yeah.
And even if you, I think it's a sign of.
It comes down to being whether you want to be a good person.
It's
or
a
not.
sign of what do you call it? Just weakness, kind of, because somebody that thinks they need something like that to be a good person, that's a sign of just uneducation to me. Like, you know, like, you don't need something to
and
be a
not
good
always
person.
necessarily on education, but an unwillingness to be their own person and to question more.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
kind
not
of
an
like,
independent thing.
Yeah, it's like, why are you a Christian? Well, my parents were Christian. I was raised Catholic, and I, believe in. Okay, well, like, when it's the most important thing, I would argue the most important thing in someone's kind of belief system, where did the universe come from, and why? Like, not why are we here? I don't know. You could put a lot of things with that, but it's like, have you ever really pushed down on these ideas and questioned them for yourself? And I respect a lot of people that choose to live a Christian lifestyle or have this Christian guideline. But a lot of the people that I respect, when pushed about the details, and no, they don't believe in the mysticism of it. They don't believe that Jesus that his flesh actually turns, or that bread that you eat actually turns into the flesh of Christ when you eat it, but
Wait,
maybe.
Is that what they tell you in church?
Yeah, if you take the literal, there's a lot of people that literally believe, I forget the term for it.
I had no idea about that.
But
I thought
when-
you just ate bread for
When
an
you
appetizer.
when you eat the cracker, it's not. They truly believe that this cracker becomes the blood of, or the flesh of Christ, and that you are eating the holy, the Holy One.
I got a sliver of Jesus's ass.
But
Remind me to never eat that bread again. I'm not trying to cannibalism shit. I'm not trying to eat another person. That's
Yeah.
weird.
The main thing is that they think Jesus was
That's weird.
the real Son of God, the second coming of God. And I've talked about this a million times, but like, if Jesus was alive in China like 2,000 years before and raised in that society and had a mystical experience, he'd probably relate his experience to the Buddhist
Buddhism.
culture. He'd
Yeah.
be like, "Oh, I've awoken," and he was crucified for it
just
by the Jews, which
blows
is
me-
why Mel Gibson hates them. Damn it, Mel Gibson!
But he came back to life, right?
After
Yeah, that
3
was
days.
real.
Yeah, he came back to life.
Yeah, it was real.
And that story has existed for, millennia before him, but people don't like to acknowledge that either.
I need his blood or something, his ways to come back to life.
Should we end with Jesus is a bottom?
Yeah, Jesus is definitely
was
a
a
bottom.
bottom.
That was a good way.
To any Christians I've offended with that statement, I am sorry. I redact it.
I'm not. Jesus was a bottom.
Jesus was a bottom.
I'm not gonna offend you, but I know for a fact Jesus was a bottom because I fucking tore that ass up.
All right,
well, you
find
ate
us
his ass.
at Privileged Cavemen. At Privileged Cavemen on YouTube.
Tyler ate
We're
that ass.
on Instagram. Don't forget to check out our podcast on Apple Podcasts. If you could leave a review, a
Spotify.
positive review, or subscribe or follow us, that would really make our day.
We would thank you very much.
Like, share, subscribe.
Subscribe.
My name's
Subscribe.
Tyler LaFortune.
And he is part of
Just
Privileged Cavemen.
say your names.
My name's Matt Richter.
My name is Austin Miller.
And
We're
we'll
Privileged
see you
Cavemen.
next time.